Guys, I figured that's gonna be my way of starting this video. It's 5 p.m. I deserve a drink. This is Ménage à Trois, the red wine. I feel like everybody loves Ménage à Trois. But anyway, welcome back to my channel, guys. I feel like I've been MIA a little bit. It's been a while since I've vlogged. I mean, you guys may not feel it because you're watching a new series that I just started. I launched it, when was it? Last week? Anyway, guys, I'm excited because it's been a work in progress, and yeah, it's just been a passion project that I wanted to share with you guys, and I'm happy that I got so many messages. If you guys are new to my channel and you don't know what I'm talking about my apartment complex project. Okay, so the first video is out. The second one is going to be next Thursday. I mean, just coming Thursday. So you guys should go ahead and watch that. I feel like it's going to be, at some point, you know, the beginning is always slow, but at some point you guys are going to see, you know, like the heart of construction. And it's going to be fun. I've already gotten some questions, like, I'm just like, you know, I'm going to answer your question, guys, at some point. So I wanted to talk about something. You guys know I have a consulting firm. And whenever I say consulting firm, people are always asking me, what do you do? What do you do? So once again, I'm going to tell you what YJL Consulting Co. does. And I'm also going to put the link down below if you guys want to go on the website, check it out. But basically, I help the diaspora and foreigners build their businesses, or at least strategize, you know, when it comes to doing business in Cameroon. That's what I do. I have a team that oversees certain projects. I have people that I've been working with when it comes to construction. Some people have houses that they've started building and then things happen, so they reach out to me, and then now we're finishing up, you know, that construction project. And I'm really careful. The reason why I don't show my clients' work is really because I feel like it's private. Lately, I've been consulting with a lot of people. I mean, when I say a lot, more than the usual. Not that much, okay, guys? Not that much, but more than the usual. And those are people from the diaspora, right? Like Cameroonians who live abroad, who live outside of Cameroon, have been reaching out to me, asking me questions about businesses in Cameroon, how to get started, what type of job, business opportunities and things like that. And there's always this question, and I wanted to talk about that, right? There's always this question this question about what can I do in Cameroon? What can I do? So out of all the people that usually consult with me or my team, I feel like 70% of them have no clue what they want to do, and which is concerning. And let me go ahead and land. Okay, so here's my take on that, right? So as much as I consult with you guys, the first consultation is really 30 minutes consultation. I know I usually do more than 30 minutes because usually the conversation is really juicy and everything, and sometimes I feel like I overshare, but I don't mind, because even on my YouTube channel, I also overshare some of the information, just because I want people to be, you know, to learn the process, to learn the ins and outs, how to succeed, what to avoid, and things like that. And through my journey, you guys have watched me, you know, like have some failures and wins and things like that. When people ask me, what can I do in Cameroon? And I'm always like, do you want to do farming? Do you want to, I don't know, sell retail business? What do you want? Like, guys, this is such a broad question. What can I do? Can you please tell me what I can do in Cameroon? And I feel like, as much as I say, you know, the 30-minute consultation is to pick my brain and kind of like exchange with you guys. Guys, I cannot go into your brain and know exactly what type of industry you're going to be comfortable at. And I'm saying it from from experience, personal experience, because before I started investing in Cameroon back in 2016, that was also the question that I kept on asking. But I was asking the question to my dad, and my dad kept on saying, but what is it that you want to do, right? Because it really comes down to it. As much as I can tell you there's this opportunity there, you can do this, you can do that, there's so many things, right? Like me living in Cameroon and who have been doing business in Cameroon for so many years, I know firsthand some of the challenges that people may encounter, some of the things that are not yet done. So if I share, I mean, kind of like, do you want me to come up with a list? Like, there are so many things. And I feel like people need to, it has to be about what is it that you will be comfortable doing, right? It's not about what I think you can do. It's about what you will be comfortable doing. When I launched YGL Wedding, which is my brother company, I was manufacturing wedding gown, like, from scratch, right? I had a manufacturing company I was working with, manufacturing wedding gown. I don't think, if it wasn't something that I loved, something that I carried here, I don't think I would have, because the beginning was tough, right? Traveling from to different countries in order to find the best manufacturer, the suppliers, having bad suppliers, and things like that. You have to be patient. So as much as I want to say, hey, you can do this because there's needs, the demand is really huge, and in this sector you can do this, you can do that, but is it really what you want to do? Like, everything is going to come down to it. Is it really what you want to do? And I found out that many people don't know what they want to do. They want to invest in Cameroon, they want to invest in Africa, but they have no clue what to invest in. And I think it's really key to learn from different people, right? So let me tell you exactly how I got started. So I made a decision that I wanted to be rich. Guys, it really started like that. I just wanted to be rich. I told myself that the 9 to 5 job wasn't going to be it forever and ever. At some point, I will have to be my own boss. I will have to do my own thing. And I never really fitted into the 9 to 5 regular job anyway. So I made a decision, and the first thing that I did is that I followed people who were entrepreneurs, who were business owners, who were influencers, right? I followed people who became their own boss. So the way that I did that is I was listening to a lot of podcasts. I remember a friend of mine came over to my place back then when I was living in Houston. I'm still in Houston. She came and then she said, because every morning, right? Like, she stayed for a couple of days, and then she was like, when you shower and you brush your teeth, you're always listening to this podcast. Like, it's really boring. It's boring because it was talking about business, right? It was talking about the life of an entrepreneur. And I think I learned so much by just listening to people who dared to be their own boss, right? I mean, when I say their own boss, they dared to be on their own and be entrepreneurs and create their own products and have their own services. They just believed in themselves so much. And I was obsessed with podcasts. One of the podcasts that I used to always listen to that had like great people, I mean, it's Lewis House. Maybe you guys don't know him. Lewis House, the podcast is School of Greatness, right? He doesn't only have people who are entrepreneurs. He also has people who are talking about spirituality, people who are talking about lifestyle, exercising. And I feel like the more I was listening to this podcast, the more I started believing in myself, and I started asking myself key questions. I can't talk. I started asking myself key questions as to what is it I really want to do? What am I going to be happy with? Do I have a passion? I didn't even know if I had a passion, right? All I knew is that I just wanted to become the next Oprah of Africa. That's what I always said. But then if you ask me, how are you going to become the next Oprah of Africa? I had no clue, guys, no clue. I read a lot of books. One person that I would tell you changed my entire investment or personal development strategy was Jim Rohn, okay? He's not really that popular. I mean, he's popular. He's popular, but I feel like in this generation, people may not know of him. But Jim Rohn was somebody that I think I came across one of his videos. Guys, I'm all about videos. Came across one of his videos on YouTube, and I started jigging. And then I purchased the book, The 12 Pillars of Success. I think that's the title of the book, 12 Pillars of Success, where he talks about, personal development. He talks about how you have to surround yourself with good people, with people that you want to emulate, people that inspires you. And it's really key because I feel like sometimes us, right, when I say us, whether you're African or not, we want to be friends with people that we have history with, okay? Just because we were friends in high school doesn't mean we still have to be friends today. That's something that I've learned, because sometimes this is how, the trajectory is going. And then your friend, the person that you call your friend because of history, their trajectory is going that way. And you don't expect them to encourage you or to motivate you in your next endeavors, because they're not going to do that, right? They're already frustrated with their own life. So who are you to be dreaming bigger? So I've also had to learn that. Another thing that Jim Rohn talked about that I felt like was really, really key is the fact that you have to invest more in yourself than on your job. guys. I remember I was working this job. I don't know. I was probably in Austin working as an internal auditor, and then I remember somebody, I think somebody had interviewed him, and then he said, you know, when you want to shift the paradigm and you want to become bigger and dream beyond what you've seen, you have to invest on yourself more than you invest on your job. And I remember I was in my office, right? I had this small office. The door was always closed because, guys, I just like my privacy. The door was always closed. So I remember I was in my office, and then I just said, what? Because at that time, right, I just recently graduated from college, and I was, the whole, you know, like philosophy of life and being a professional was like, you have to work hard, you know, work hard at your job. That's what's going to give you, you know, an income, and then you're going to be able to afford a house, and then you're going to be able. And I remember listening to him. That's how I actually came across him. Remember listening to him, and I said, oh, because in order to become the person that is way above what you've seen and to dream beyond, right, you have to do something different than others. And one thing that you have to do different is to cultivate your mind. You cultivate your mind by, what was that noise? I'm sorry. You cultivate your mind by reading more, right? Following people who inspire you, following people who are having the lifestyle that you want to have, or they're doing amazing things, following entrepreneurs. That's how you start shifting your paradigm, right? Allowing yourself to believe that I can also become the next Mark Zuckerberg. I can also become the next Oprah, and so forth. So he changed my life, right? Because at that time I was working so much on my job to the point where I wanted to prove a point. I wanted to show my boss that I was so good at my job, and he didn't hire me, you know, by mistake. Like, I was good. And I remember listening to this guy, and I thought to myself, who, like, what? And I started studying other people. I started reading books. I started listening to podcasts. There's a book. I know this is a long-winded, you know, conversation, but there's a book that I've read, which is called The E-Myth. I don't know, why small businesses don't succeed, something like that, right? And E stands for entrepreneurs, right? The entrepreneurs myth. And guys, that book, oh my God, that book, I read that book when I launched my first business, YGL Wedding LLC. And when I tell you that I was like, this is my life, you know, this is, he talks about the difference between being a technician and the entrepreneurs, right? The technician, okay, let me give you an example. If you're somebody who likes doing hair, for example, like women, we love styling our hair, everything, and you're really good at doing cornrows, good at doing braids, good at perming hair, all of that, you're just good. And then you wake up one day and say, why am I working for this person doing hair? I can also be my own boss. I can also have my own business, right? My own salon, guys. The lies and the truth that people don't tell you is that you can be good at doing hair. Doesn't mean you're gonna be good at running a business. It's different. Different. Because by the time you run a business, it's not just about hair, right? It's not just about hair. You have to learn about taxes. You have to pay taxes. You have to pay your employees. You have to manage your employees, which is usually one of the worst things, right? Like, I think when it comes to business, the business is not the system. I mean, it is the systems and processes that you have to put in place, but it's the people, you know, the people will make or break your business. So there are so many things that come into the whole packaging of like, I am an entrepreneur, I have my own business. Guys, at school, do you think I'm worried that much about what type of lesson did we teach the children today? No. I'm dealing with high-level issues that my teachers don't even have to worry about, right? Let's say one of my teachers say, you know what, I also want to become a founder. I'll just be like, I actually had a teacher who told me that. She said, because I was asking her, what's your goal in life and things? And then she said, I want to become a founder. And then I said, okay. Good. I said, do you know what it takes to be a founder? You're an amazing teacher. That's what I told her. I said, you're an amazing teacher. But once you become a founder, there are so many things that you have to deal with that won't have anything to do with cheating, you know? Like you would just have to make sure that you hire the right people to teach the children, but you're gonna be overseeing so many other things that you really, yeah. I had this conversation with somebody. Also, the person lives back home, right, in Cameroon. And then she was telling me how she wants to have her own restaurants and blah, blah, blah. And then I said, okay, you want to have your own restaurant because you're a good cook? She said, yeah. I said, okay. So where's the restaurant going to be located? And then she said, oh, I can do this, that. I said, okay, you know, you're going to have to pay rent. You're going to have to pay utilities. If something breaks, if the food gets spoiled, if a customer is not happy, the people who are going to be working for you, they have to show up. If they don't show up, then you're not going to have enough people in the kitchen. You're not going to have enough people to serve food. If something breaks down, right, you're going to be like, hey, you need to spend money because it takes money to build, to maintain a business. And then I remember even taxis and all of that. So I remember going through the list of things that you have to take care of as an entrepreneur. And at the end of that conversation, she told me, she said, I just want to cook. She said, I just want to cook. And I said exactly what I thought. You becoming, and that book, right, E-Myth, Entrepreneur's Myth, allows you to understand the position of a technician. You can be so good at your job. Doesn't mean you're going to be a good CEO. You're going to be a good entrepreneur, right? Because being an entrepreneur takes another level. I mean, it's not about focusing on your craft anymore. It's about focusing on maintaining the business, making sure there are processes, there are systems. The people that you hire, you have to train them. You have to make sure that there's training in place. You have to make sure that whatever mistake they make, you know, you're going to be there to fix it. You have to make sure there's lights. You have to make sure the money is coming in. And then now your role as an entrepreneur becomes about clients, right? You have to make sure that you're reaching out to clients. You working on strategy, marketing strategies in order to get people in the door. So many things comes into play. So sometimes when I talk to people and then they say, I have money in my bank, I have so much money and I want to invest back home. The first thing that I ask them is that, do you want to be an entrepreneur or you want to hand over the business to somebody to manage? Because it's different, guys. It's different. I've had many people ask me the question, why is it that you moved to Cameroon? Like you had to move to Cameroon? And I always said yes. Even though when I first started, I was still living here in the US and I was doing the back and forth. But at some point, I knew it wasn't going to be succeeding, right? Like whatever I was making, I was barely making money to pay all the bills. And I knew that there was going to be a big shift when I decided to move back to Cameroon. And that's exactly what happened. So you have to be hands-on when it comes to doing business in Africa. I don't know about other African countries, but I know about Cameroon, and that is not an easy environment to be an entrepreneur. Hey guys, so this is gonna be the end of this video. I feel like I talked too much. It was gonna be a short 15-minute video just telling you my experience and what I've done in order to become this person today. And I'm just hoping that the message kind of came across and you guys, you know, are gonna probably write something down as a takeaway, because it's really important to learn something from everybody, right? Like I wasn't just learning from people who wanted to relocate to Africa or people who were doing business in Africa. I was learning from everybody, right? From all walks of life. People from India, people from America, people from Europe, everywhere, right? And I feel like when it comes to personal development, the language and the advice are usually universal. So it doesn't matter where you're going, it's usually universal, right? So hoping that you guys learn 1 or 2 things in this video, and that I can be, you know, the messenger. I can be the portal, right, that will allow you to get into your next step in life. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna keep on drinking my wine, and then I'm gonna go make some steak because I feel like eating steak today. And I've already taken the steak out of the freezer. I'm gonna make it pretty soon. And then yeah, that's how my night is gonna go. It's still bright outside, even though I'm using, you know, this light here. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Let me know what you thought, you know, of the whole conversation. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye. I need music, guys. I feel like I need music when I'm cooking. So, deuces.